Hola Madridistas, welcome back to another episode of Let's Be Real podcast. Um, Not pretty but effective. But I can't lie, large parts of the first half, I was wondering, how would this match go? But thankfully, in the end, we found a way. Um, some determined performances, some determined corrections. Let's just put it that way in the second half. Um, some much needed faith from Carlo. I was about to break my screen, throw the TV out of the window. Couple of performances were really baffling for me in the first half, but they came through. They came through big time in the end, and yeah, man, it goes to show. People who do this for a living, they know better than us fans. Pretty much 99% of the time. But big up our esteemed panel, Jacob and Mo. Jacob, I'll come to you, man. Dortmund shot, thanking the Dortmund gods for a very specific individual, paying tribute, homage. But how has it been, man? The game, did it pan out the way you expected it to?
Yeah, man, I was missing Real Madrid games for a couple of weeks and finally,
Mm,
got to see some action. And it was a really high octane game. Really enjoyed the first half, even though it didn't go our way. And,
mm,
just happy that we got the win in the end.
100%. Um, how's it going, Mo?
Yeah, man, it's brilliant. It was an exciting game to watch today. You said that it wasn't pretty, and I was like, no, 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 definitely not. Don't agree on that. I thought even though we were struggling to score in the first half, I thought we pretty played some brilliant, like we played some good football. I think we created a lot of chances. It was up to La Real. You have to give credit where it's due. There's two teams who are playing the game, not just one. So I think they did well as well, and I think we created a lot of chances. Sadly, we weren't able to score, but it is what it is.
100%. The reason why I said it wasn't pretty, it wasn't because we weren't combining and aesthetically it didn't look nice. For me,
I
it
mean,
wasn't. It
I think
wasn't pretty.
the,
Go
the
on.
the tempo of the game was pretty high, right? And yeah, we did struggle in the final third, but I think overall the team was playing pretty well. So for me, I
Again,
agree with the
it's not
statement that
about playing well. Honestly, for me, it
no, I
was the
mean when you
way.
say we didn't look
It wasn't
aesthetically
pretty
pretty.
because Kubo was single-handedly skinning us on the left. That wasn't pretty to watch,
I
not
mean,
by a
okay,
mile.
that's one aspect of the game, right?
Mm.
But like, how many
That
shots
was
did
the
we
highlight
create?
for me, man. As a Real Madrid fan, being on the receiving end of that kind of battering by a single player wasn't pretty. That's the only thing. That's the only thing. But yeah, like you said, the combinations, the intricate, exchanges were there. We had so much encouraging stuff to take away from the first half. Like you said, we didn't capitalize. So many instances Rodrigo threw on goal. I have no idea, man. Last year's Rodrigo or the previous year's Rodrigo basically puts them away, or at least um, tries to go far corner, bottom low, far corner. This time he just scuffs his shot. It's basically savable height for the keeper. And Alex Ramiro, in my humble opinion, like even though he might have been tested once, maybe
Man, he
twice,
had like
maybe a
seven, eight
stretch,
saves.
but proper tested.
Yeah.
I don't think so, honestly. You know, um, but it is what it is. We'll get into the finer details, but um, you know the drill. If you're new here, don't forget to smash the like, subscribe to the channel. We're on the road to 2K. Also, people listening in, uh, do us a favor. If you're listening over on the audio platforms, if you like the episode, just come over to YouTube and smash the like button, man. It would really help us push the algorithm, and the yada yada whatnot. But the way the game began, right? Who should I come to? Mo. No better place to start than Kubo's magic. Carvajal out of position. Rudiger basically getting attracted to Oyarzabal, who had a shambolic game. He couldn't basically hit a barn door, couldn't combine, basically was non-existent. But he got pulled away, and then Carvajal had to do the job, and he was nowhere to be seen. Um, but sum it up, man.
No, I
It's-
think you mentioned pretty much everybody, and in
mm,
the defense, but you have actually left out like the people who actually were to blame in this one. Like in my opinion, I think the guy to blame on this one was like Chouameni, because like okay, we made a whole video about how Chouameni had had a
He had
really
a very
solid.
average game.
But I
Mm.
think personally the issue was like tracking runners from midfield. If you
Yeah.
watch that goal, it was Barrenechea, and I think
Yeah.
Tchouaméni was the
He
one who
was
was tracking him.
constantly getting
Yeah,
runs
so
in
that
behind,
is
and
the
nobody
thing, right?
was laying a marker on.
You said about Oyarzabal that Rudiger gets pulled, but the thing is, like as a defender, you're supposed to track the man in the box, right? It's supposed to be the
100%.
midfield
But
runner's job
sometimes
to
it's a
come.
judgment call, right? Sometimes it's 50-50. If Oyarzabal is running into no man's land, maybe let him run.
Nah, the thing is like there was a ball coming in, so it obviously makes sense to track the striker, right? Where was Alaba? Alaba was like drawn out wide. There was nobody else. So if the ball had gone to Oyarzabal and Rudiger is not tracking him, we're slating him for not sticking with Oyarzabal. But the problem is like somebody from midfield has to track when Alex Barrenechea is making that run, and Tchouaméni didn't do that. And that it wasn't just Tchouaméni who didn't do that. Even later on in the half, there was another one that Fede Valverde didn't track. So I think we can blame Carvajal for not
The
tracking him
header,
and everything. Yeah. So
Merino said.
we can blame the defenders, but the thing is like the midfield has to help out, and that wasn't there. So I guess that's how the goal went in.
But for me, the primary responsibility lies with defenders, man. I'll be honest to God. Like Carvajal, he puts in the shift up top.
Man, the
But
thing
when
is like
something like
we
that
are playing
happens,
a
it's
4-4-2,
glaring.
right? We're playing a
Yeah.
4-4-2 diamond where there is
Yeah.
no width. So somebody has to provide depth width. And when your fullbacks are like pushing up, they need time to come back. So it's the responsibility of the other players, to cover in the holes. And that's what we were talking about when we did the preview the thing about Tchouaméni, right? That Tchouaméni doesn't really have that in him to play like Casemiro. Like Casemiro knew where to tuck in and cover the spaces. Tchouaméni couldn't do that. And I think that it was again visible today. But then I wouldn't completely put it on him because Fede Valverde made the same mistake. So I think somewhere down the line there is a problem with the system. The instructions that are coming from the management are not enough about keeping trackers in place.
100%. But I'll have to disagree, with certain aspects because I completely understand the runners have to be tracked. But sometimes you have seen on multiple occasions, our midfield has never been proactive enough. No matter the personnel, no matter what kind of setup we are playing, our midfielders switch off. It has been a constant theme. Even when KCM were in their prime, it used to happen,
I
right?
mean, so that is why I said, right, the message has to come from the management team that you have to keep this thing in mind. You have to keep track of this.
I think the message is very, very abundantly clear, man. Honestly, it's the basics.
I mean,
It's
is
the
it not the fault
basics.
of midfielders? Like, it's not up to the defenders to track everybody, is it?
It's not, but I'm just telling you, the
So it has
messages
to be a
are
team
abundantly
effort.
clear because
Defending is
it's
a
the
team effort.
basics. Like we said, like you said
Defending is
yourself, that tracking runners are part of the basics, right? But we have seen time and time again, our midfield just can't cope with runners all the time.
okay, man. So what do
Like
you want us to do?
sometimes,
Buy a new midfield?
no. I'm just saying that
So
sometimes
that's the thing, right? You
the
have to
the
identify a
the
problem and
only
come up with
blame.
a solution.
Sorry.
You have to identify a problem. Now you have identified a problem, so you have to come up with a solution. The coming up with a solution is the job of the management. So they have to keep this in mind. They have to drill this into the midfielders. That this
I'm
guy
telling
is
you,
making certain things.
spoiler alert, bro. Like it's never gonna happen. It's never gonna happen. It
Okay,
has
fine.
never
Then let's
happened.
not talk about it.
No,
I mean,
the only thing I'm
obvious
telling you is, see, the only thing I want to convey here is that yeah, there is responsibilities. Of course, Chouameni has to track his runner. So does Fede. So does Kamavinga or Cruz or whoever else is playing in the diamond. But sometimes it's just normal. So who is in the picture then?
I mean,
The defenders.
if you want to look at who is in the picture and blame like whoever is the nearest man, then I'm sorry, like that's not
Oh,
an analysis that is worth listening. I mean, you
you're
have
just,
to
you're
look
just
at the
taking the
whole
mic
picture.
now. You're just taking the mic now because
I
I
mean,
just
you
proposed
just said that
I just
whoever the defender
proposed
goes in the picture, let's blame them. I mean, let's look at the holistic picture, right?
the holistic picture is this has been going on for God knows how long. Ever since even Zidane was there, our
So yeah,
midfield never
that's
tracked
what I'm
runners.
saying. Okay,
Have
fine.
you ever seen Cruz or Modric 100% track every runner? No, I haven't. Jacob, have you? I want to hear
No, I mean,
Jacob's thoughts as well.
these things
He's been so quiet.
Yeah, I've been quiet because I just have a differing thought to what you guys say. Like, okay, one thing is about tracking the runners, right? But basically, the left side shit their bed. Kubo isn't supposed to have that much amount of space, and if you give someone like that, like even if Tchouaméni maybe tracks Barrenechea, maybe Mikel Merino runs in, and then because there's space left behind, and you just can't allow a single player to get past two players in the form of Fran Garcia and Toni Kroos so easily, and
I
still.
mean,
Yeah.
Kubo didn't get past anybody. What Kubo did was he cut inside into the half space, right? Once he cut inside the half space, the ball is coming in. Barnechea was there. Oyarzabal was there. Mikel Merino
When
wasn't there.
when he's cutting in and attempting the cross, it should be blocked, right?
It should be blocked.
We're looking at the holistic.
When somebody is blocking the half, who is supposed to defend the half space?
Tony Cruz.
Fran Garcia.
No, the half space was supposed to be defended by Tony Cruz.
Yeah.
In my humble opinion, half spaces should be defended by both of them. In defensive transition,
Okay, fine.
both of them should be complementing each other to help out.
When the right back is making a run, he's overlapping, and
Right.
your players are getting dragged out. Frank Garcia is
Right.
getting dragged out. David Alaba is getting dragged out. It's
Right.
supposed to be the job of Tony Cruz to come in and cover the half space near the ball.
So that's the thing. See, we are running around in circles. If you want to look at the root cause of
when
the
I made
problem,
the point,
it began even before the ball ends up at Kubo's feet. So I'm just putting my opinion out there that what I saw in the picture
you put your
was
opinion out. I'm
Carvajal.
putting my opinion out. I don't understand why you are like talking.
Fair
so
enough.
much.
We can agree to disagree. It's just two different opinions, right? I know you find no sense in what I say. Similarly, I find no sense in what you say as well. So
Okay, fine. Now can I?
let's move on. Let's move on.
No, man.
Jacob.
I kind of want to hear what Mo has to say in the end. Go ahead, Mo.
Right, he has been saying a lot for the past 5 minutes.
I'm
not gonna lie.
Something I answer, right? You're just talking over everybody. I don't know why you're doing that.
Right. Go for it. Let's move on quickly. Yeah. Make your point.
That was the point I made, right? That you have to look at everybody and you have to apportion the blame as is appropriate. Like everybody, Chouameni gets some.
I wasn't.
blame, and the management team gets some blame. So everybody has to work together and
Yeah.
fix this issue for the future.
100%.
Something like that.
Yeah, like I wasn't pinning it only on Carvajal, but for me, bro, like sometimes it is what it is, like it is the life of a fullback, I guess. You live by your trade, you die by your trade. But Kubo's ball was inch perfect. It was inch perfect. It was the perfect precision, cutter that took us by surprise. Basically, everybody was like, "What is happening?" And 3 goals, first 15 minutes of the game this season already. How many match days have gone by? This was the 5th match day, right? It's unacceptable. It's not just up to par. Honestly, we can't start games this slow. It has been a recurring theme for all great Carlo sides. We just start very slow. I don't know what it is. What could be the reason, guys? Like, why hasn't we started games screwed on?
I think it's because we loaned too many of our players or sold too many of our players to our La Liga sides, and they just gain superpowers, man, when they face against us, and then in those first 5 minutes
Right.
they always do the damage.
Might be that. Might be the juju. It never fails to happen, right? Like whenever one of our former players plays against us, like it's good night. Good night, Vienna. But right. Kubo's goal, which got chopped off. Let's talk about that as well. What a finish that was. Like if it wasn't for like a couple of body hairs of Oyarzabal being involved in the equation, that would have been a banger. And Kepa didn't even stand a chance. Like he was full stretch, but he was completely beaten. Mo, let's talk about Kubo, man, quickly before we move on to our players. Like, is he the real deal?
I mean, after that performance, you're really asking me if he's the real deal. He's
I mean,
obviously the real deal.
But it's like he has been showing good signs last season, but this season he has like brought it to another level. But it's only like 5 match days into the season, right?
I mean, Kubo, we've always known he had the talent. He did well when he was at Mallorca the first time around. He struggled a little bit at Villarreal, but that's the thing, right? Whenever an attacking midfielder goes and plays for Unai Emery, they always kind of fizzle out. So I don't know. Kubo has always been an exciting talent. This season he's really taking a step up, So we'll see how he does. Maybe in 2024 he's back.
People in the chat, let us know, man. Kubo, what are your guys' thoughts? We have a 50% buyback clause, right?
We have a 50%, we own 50% of his rights.
Right, fair.
So if you bring him back, it'll cost 33 million.
33 million, yeah? Okay.
30 million euros.
Right. If someone else buys us, like we get 26 or something? No?
No, we whatever they pay, we get 50%.
Oh, okay. Fair. Right. Ashik was mentioning who scored the winning goal today. Ashik, big up yourselves, man. Like, but I think you're joking over there. Danielson says, "Vamos, guys. Ala Madrid, big up yourself, Daniel. Uh, what have I missed, guys? Nothing much. We were having a mini argument. Regarding widely different takes on the same thing basically. But Smiley says Fran is terrible at defending but very important in the attacks. We'll get to Fran. Danielson says, I can't lie, the goal we considered today was too cheap. To me, we could do better defensively. 100%. Not gonna lie, the Kubo strike was a blathering. I haven't heard the term blathering before. Maybe I need to brush up my Oxford dictionary, but I hope it is a good adjective, positive adjective. But big up yourself, Daniel. Big up everyone in the chat. Smash the like button if you haven't already. Right. Danny Carvajal had some nice combinations with Joselu, especially the double chance, the first cutback was a little bit behind probably. Maybe that's why he couldn't, get the proper connection, but still Joselu tried his best, struck the bar. The rebound, he tried crossing it in. I have no idea why Rodrigo went for the acrobatics. He could have maybe tried to chest it down. Maybe too much pressure from the guy marking him. Maybe he thought, hitting it on the volley would have a better return. But Rodrigo kept trying. Not gonna lie, I wouldn't fault him much. The first takeaway I wrote down right after that was Tchouaméni was struggling without Camavinga. Am I delusional, Jacob, in saying that, or is it just a very silly observation? Like 20 minutes into the game.
Define struggling, man. I feel like he had a couple of blocks. He got in some challenges. He just kept playing simple passes. I didn't see a lot of him. Like, so what do you mean by struggling?
In the sense, maybe it has to do with Sociedad's brilliant press, their very effective high line, their cohesion, all of that. But the usual Tchouaméni 23-24 vigor, the way he actually progresses the ball, the way he commands, the aura, and all that shit.
I see what you mean. Like usually we can see him bombing up the pitch or easily brushing away players. But this time I feel like Sociedad's press, it was a bit too much, and our players just didn't have enough time on the ball. Like all he could do was like play a few back passes and then take some quick touches, keep the ball moving. And only when the ball went a bit more wide, so to Toni Kroos or Fede Valverde, we actually had some space. Until that, it was very, very tight in the middle of the park.
More to flip the question, right? Like, would Camavinga, have added a bit more defensive work rate? I was crying out for Kroos. Even Farouk was mentioning, we need Kroos to actually maybe, survive. What we expected is going to be, pretty excellent pressing from Sociedad and whatnot. But do you think that Camavinga would have maybe suited better in the first half, and Kroos coming on in the second?
That's really a tough thing to say. I think the problem was the fact that Sociedad, they had a pretty good coordinated press going on in the first half, especially. And I think the issue with us, like for me personally, is the fact that further up the pitch, we don't really have, let's say, a pressure relieving valve, right? We don't really have a striker that who can, get into spaces and create those overloads. I guess like we struggle with that. Jacob is talking about when the ball, we were pretty good when we got the ball to Valverde and Kroos, but the thing is, like other players, they were making runs around them that opened up passing opportunities. But when it came to like central areas of the pitch, I think Sociedad figured out that as long as they pack it, we won't be able to get it out easily. And I think that's what happened. There wasn't, and when we were doing that, although other like players in the midfield might drop down and allow a passing lane to open up, but then what do you do next? The next ball was missing. So I guess that's what added to the pressure. I think in these situations like these, you need a striker who can, hold up the ball up top and, get other players involved. I think Joselu, while he tried dropping deep and, getting opportunities where people could play the balls into him, he really struggled, creating plays for others. And I think Joselu's movement also wasn't that great. So I think that it was a result of multiple factors. You just have to look at the whole picture. Otherwise, it's very tough to make it out.
Mm. Again, the whole picture, it irks me, but let it pass. But
I mean, I
my
can look at screenshots,
no, I get it. It was a joke. Relax. Right. For me, the thing is, whenever Jose is on the pitch, it's cross and inshallah. It's like
I mean, that's his
basically,
strength, right?
yeah, that is. But
So you should be playing to the strength of the player who is going to score goals.
the thing is, bro, I have seen, especially in the first half, I did see, Jude making some excellent runs. Like nobody's attempting a through ball, past their very high line. Nobody is taking the risk. Maybe the one or two times they took the risk, like Fran Garcia was way, offside.
To take, you want us to play the through ball, right? But you have to get into a certain area to play the through ball. We didn't get into those areas.
I don't know, man. For me,
see, the
people
thing is,
were
like
just
everybody has almost figured out how to play against us, right? We were talking about Rodrigo earlier, and you were like, he's not making the same shots that he used to last season or even the season before. You have to understand that this last season or even the season before, he had players like Vinicius, around him, even Benzema.
Benzema,
these guys took the pressure off him. Right now, what happened is like he's having 2 or 3 players.
He's getting hogged. Yeah.
Always whenever he has the ball. And I think with Bellingham, Sociedad did the same thing today. Whenever he was in an opportunity to receive the ball in important areas, they made it as difficult for him as possible. I think when you do that,
double manned him, triple manned him,
and I think Bellingham had a good chance to get a goal when Carvajal played in the second shot. When Rodrigo sort of made an acrobatic attempt. I think if Rodrigo hadn't done that, I think Bellingham would have been clean through on goal.
Right. Then the thing of note, Merino's shot was, saved by Kepa. Again, I've grown to like him. I have no idea. Slowly but surely, like he's been exuding some sort of confidence that I can feel. Thoughts on Kepa? Quick thoughts, Jacob?
No, man. For me, okay, so I was kind of surprised that he made those saves. To be honest, like he just hasn't filled me with confidence yet. Especially like early on, he had some nervy moments with Alaba. But
I remember
huge props.
Alaba was livid.
Yeah, and today I think he lived above my expectations at least. So I just hope he can build on this and be a more stable figure.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand. Like, when was Alaba livid?
I think when he misplaced a pass into midfield or something, or maybe he played it one of the centre backs, and we were immediately under pressure. Something like that. I can't really
Alaba
exactly
had a
remember.
short pass towards Kepa. I think it was in the second minute of the game, and then the defender.
That was Alaba's mistake, right?
Yeah, it was Alaba's mistake, though.
Yeah.
No, but
right.
These moments, it just
but
seems
sometimes
to happen
it's decision making.
This guy, man, like
for me, Kepa's weaknesses are when he's dealing with crosses and corners. As a shot stopper, he's always been pretty brilliant. When he was like in La Liga before for Athletic Club, he was still brilliant when it came to making these kind of saves. But when it comes to like crosses and dealing with physicality in the box, I think he struggles a bit. And I also whenever I saw him for Chelsea, I also felt that this guy he had those moments of let's say Rudiger-ness, where he would just make weird things happen. And I guess he was doing that like even in the last game and the game before. But we'll see. I think so far to this game he kept that to a minimum. Probably helped by the fact that Sociedad aren't the team who's gonna knock him out with physicality. So I guess that helped him.
Couple of nice punches. I think in the second half.
I remember there was this one punch where he like literally got just like a few fingertips to clear the ball. I think that was pretty good.
Where I think who was it who gave him a big high five or something? Was it Alaba? Was it Rudiger? Carvajal. Right.
That was Carvajal's fault on that play.
Yeah. Ricardo is in the chat. He was saying happy for Selu. Also agree with you about Rodrigo's finishing. Right. Big up Ricardo, man, every single time. Ashik was saying we don't normally chalk up a win after international breaks and drop points often. But I'm glad to see this hurdle negotiated and now on to the next game. Right. What else? What else can we talk about the first half? Right. Rodrigo nutmeg on Tierney. Loved it, for a plethora of reasons. I like Tierney, but he he had an okayish game. I expected him to struggle a bit, but he was pretty composed. But yeah, another thing I wrote down was Sociedad was finding it too easy. They were super organized, man. Like I know that Imanol Al-Ghassil or something. Yeah, he has a reputation for actually playing against the top two sides and always putting up big performances. Didn't they beat Barcelona, I think, last year and whatnot? So they have been a pretty imposing team, especially on big nights like these. They switch it on. So yeah, man, big up to every single one of them. Like I was surprised that he was keeping on Oyarzabal for a lot of time. Considering the fact that they had ample depth in attack on the bench, guys like Umar Sadiq. But
Umar Sadiq
yeah,
is
man,
coming back off an injury, so
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know
yeah.
if he was fit.
Yeah, he wasn't fit, but the other guy, Zakarian, yeah,
Yeah,
he,
Arsene Zakarian, they just signed
yeah.
him, and I think when he came on, he was playing in the midfield.
Mm.
So
I've seen
I
bits of him.
think
He looks like a promising player.
I think with Oyarzabal, the thing is like he's their biggest player,
Mm.
and ever
Yeah,
since coming back from an injury, he's not really
look the
gotten back
same.
into form. But I
Mm.
think what they want is like to give him enough repetition so that going forward he can really
Right.
reach where he used to be.
Maybe that's why. Like I was because they have the midweek game against I think Inter Milan or something, right? So right, yeah, man. Either ways, they made some good account of themselves. Sociedad have been a very good team to watch for years now. Right. Second half kicks on. Halftime, I'm thinking, let's do something about the left back situation because there was a moment where Fran Garcia basically loses footing, and there was a gasp, from the Bernabeu crowd, like they didn't like what they saw. You know, he was struggling to exude any sort of confidence, have any sort of yeah, man, like faith in what he's about to do. He has had these moments, but yeah, today was extremely evident, unlike a few of the past performances. But kudos to Carlo. I wanted him out in like at halftime, but I guess Carlo pulled him to the side and gave him some of the age-old advice that he has blessed upon so many generation of footballers, and something clicked, and Fran Garcia came on and was a different player. Maybe the Valverde cut back probably kind of helped him get some sort of face back, because that's a shot that yeah we expect, but it was kind of a flash in the pan. We have seen Fede do this, but the accuracy, the venom. Um, should we give Fran enough credit for the cutback? More the first goal,
What do you mean enough credit?
Yeah.
in the sense it was outside the D. It was a routine.
I mean, Fran was in the picture, right?
Fan was in the picture, but I don't know. I mean, Fede's shot basically, like that you can't really call that a high XG cutback. Maybe you could coin that phrase for me. But for the Joselu cross was much more on point, right? Like that's what I'm trying to say.
I mean, the fact of the matter is, like, you need to make a decision on where to where to pass the ball. And I think he decided that Fede was a better alternative than playing the ball into the box. And I guess Fede shot proved him right.
Fair enough. See, spoiler alert, right? Like I was over the moon about the guy. I'm just trying to play bad cop, so that I try to get some, varying, reactions from you all. But Jacob, man, the cutback was nice, but Fede's shot. Let's talk about the banger. It's been a long time coming. We have been waiting for this for months.
Yeah, man. He had a really good goal for Uruguay as well over the international break, and
Yeah.
I guess that confidence just carried on. And so far this season in La Liga, we haven't seen his shots really hit the target. He's been trying a lot
Yeah.
because of his advanced role, but finally it clicked on. And, I guess he had an explanation for the goal as well. He just said, "I chose to do the side foot because Fran Garcia put the ball in it with such pace. I just needed to touch in and direct it." Yeah, that's what he said.
The shot, the technique behind the shot was pretty exuberant. Like the way he kind of placed it, like I expected it to hit the post and maybe go wide, but just like kiss the post and went inside. Is one of the most satisfying ways to um, score. Not gonna lie. Do we have any post match quotes, Jacob, or should we?
Uh, there is one funny question that was asked to him. So he was asked about his future with the club, and then he said,
Fede.
Yeah, to Fede Valverde. And then he said, my future, I'm a player of this club. The day I don't feel this way, I'll find a solution, or the club will find a solution for me. And he also says, Premier League offers, I think I have the ability to play for this club. The day I don't feel like that, I'm probably going to look for another solution.
Should we read between any lines more, or is it just
There is no line to
templates?
look between. It's a stupid question here. Like, what
Right.
is
Right. True. Yeah. Quick change of the way the match was panning out, right? Like after we get the goal, and then for some reason we just give up all sort of initiative to Sociedad, and it's Sociedad basically dictating how the match is gonna flow for like a good, I think, 5, 6, 7 minutes, right? Like, and the crowd was getting very agitated. I was thinking, what are we doing? Why is everybody all of a sudden behind the ball and looking to soak up pressure and counter? Like all the fans, at the Bernabeu, and also people like me, watching at home, we wanted, us to stamp our authority. Like for large parts in the first half, it was kind of even. We were still creating chances, but I thought we should, completely go for the neck. But maybe Carlos saw it differently. And Fran Garcia's assist to Joselu happened. Can you guys run me back through how it happens? Because it was a blur. Because when the goal happened, I can't remember what happened like 30, 40 seconds before. Because I was in pure hysteria. Like, can you guys recall, like, was it a mistake from Sociedad, or did we win the ball deep in our halves?
We did not win the ball. I guess it was just progressed really fast, and then Rodrigo got on the ball. Fran Garcia made the overlapping run, and then it was a perfectly weighted ball to Fran, and then that's how it happened.
If I remember correctly, it's supposed to be a transition because Bellingham had an opportunity to make that pass like earlier, but he held on the ball a little bit longer.
Yeah, perfect. That was the thing.
That's the point I remember from. I think Bellingham did the same thing earlier before. If you remember, like you talked about Fran Garcia slipping. On the same play, I think Bellingham held the ball too long, and Fran was kind of like frustrated. And then when he passes him the ball, he kind of
yeah, true. I remember that.
That's what I remember. I think Bellingham played the ball, and somehow everybody felt that was a little bit delayed. But then Rodrigo placed the ball into Fran, and Fran. I think this was the action that I was talking about. I think it was 2 weeks before when we like reviewing the last game. I think Fran has to be like more. He has to stand with the authority, make the decisions. What he does so far, from what I've seen, is like he defers to other people. He's always like he's giving too much respect to his teammates. From what I see, instead of playing his own natural game, what he does is like
the thing is,
and let others like do the thing. This play, if you see, even this play, he wanted to give the ball, he wanted to lay it back, but then he saw there was an opportunity, so he took the ball and made that run, and then once he goes into space, that was like he had like the whole Arabian Sea to make the pass.
We'll get to some of the things that I don't like about Fran in a bit, but the assist was sublime. And Joselu's positioning for once, like he had a good few attempts where like he kind of looked in prime positions, but like you said, like I wasn't too impressed with his overall positioning in the game as well. But that header was a hammer blow. It was perfectly directed, brilliant amount of power behind it. Couldn't have dealt with it better. Jacob.
Yeah, man. I totally, because I guess the camera angles of the TV, I did not expect to see Joselu right up there so free. I guess at that moment he made the right run, and then got free of their left back. Who was their left back? Tierney. I guess that's when Emmanuel actually got pissed off at him and then took Tierney off. So he just found that extra bit of space.
Lenormand?
Lenormand?
I'm not sure. Let me check.
Might have been the centre back. I'm not sure either. I just lost my mind, to be honest.
Yeah, like on the TV screen, especially, like I couldn't see this guy. Joselu, and then I was just really surprised and happy that it went in. We really needed that to go in, to be honest, because Sociedad were really bossing us until that moment.
Yeah. Joselu, Jacob, I'm gonna ask you the follow up question. Is he like Fran? We'll get to Fran, but Joselu, in isolation, like, does he give you a bit more confidence than day one of match day one, basically, of the season?
100%, man. Like, how many goals does he have now? 2, 3?
Two.
2.
Two.
So not that much, but I feel like with Vinicius out, he's our best option out there in the front line. We saw how the game panned out like after he left, and then we basically were just playing with Rodrigo, and then what Luka Modric at striker. I don't know what happened, to be honest there, but I feel much more comfortable just starting out games with Joselu when Vinicius is missing.
Mo, anything to add?
I mean, something is better than nothing.
Yeah,
100%.
So you'll take a Joselu over nothing. Instead of playing Luka Modric false nine, Joselu is always preferable.
Right after that, it was baffling. I didn't understand it. But more, you actually mentioned it in the chat, probably because of his overall game was off the mark tonight. But immediately after scoring, I thought probably leave him on and nick another one to have a comfortable position in the game. But Carlo thought otherwise, maybe to kind of prevent Sociedad from basically dictating the game, to get a bit more control. Kamavinga comes on, Chouameni's taken off, Modric comes on, and basically it's like some variant of a 4-5-1. Basically everyone hogging behind Rodrigo. I don't understand it, but in a way, I could understand maybe towards the end that we had a bit more possession. We tried to create a few chances. Jude was again imperious. Even when he was like shifted to the left predominantly. After the switch in the switch after the goal and whatnot. Like Jude was pretty nice, man. Like I couldn't fault him. He couldn't actually play his usual game. Like what Mo said earlier, but still, when you give him the ball, like he just has the knack to make something happen, right? Like Mo, like it's so effortless.
Yeah, I mean, Jude has great technical qualities. There's the reason why Jacob, decides to pay homage to him today. But I think the fact of the matter is like teams have started adapting to him and putting up like multiple players on him when he has the ball. I think there are certain instances where I felt like, oh, why is he doing that? But then you realize he has the talent to get out of those tight spaces with the ball at his feet. Like kind of like Zidane used to do it. So I think sometimes you just have to sit back and marvel. But at the end of the day, I think there is something to be said about being effective, and his play is translating into let's say goals or assists or something like that. Even chances. Today, I didn't feel that happened. Unluckily for him, but I think it will happen in the future. I think today he had two opportunities where he could have been on the score sheet. One was that Brahim thing, and the other one was where Rodrigo made that acrobatic attempt. So
the Brahim one should have been a goal, but Alex Romero was brilliant.
You have to give credit to their right back Traore, who made a run and got there before everybody
for the rebound, right?
No, for the cross as well. It was a combination of Traore and Ramiro who kept the ball out. So, the thing is like about football, when you look at it, you can't really just be blaming our players or something. You also have to give credit where it's due. I think Lariat also came to play. The 11 men over there didn't just buy tickets to the Bernabeu and come and watch Bellingham. So.
That's a Real Madrid podcast. We don't give a fuck about Hamari Traore, but yeah, he was a decent left back. I mean, right back for me. Yeah. Last year in FIFA, he's pretty good. In game, at least, I haven't seen much of him. I know he came from Liga and whatnot. He played for Rennes or something. So yeah, like he looked decent. But sometimes, like I felt like Rodrigo made him really, he tore him a new one. I remember like he's just jogging up to the ball and he sees Rodrigo right, breathing on his shoulder, and he just lost all, sort of composure. Decent fullback, not gonna lie. Cruz, man, Jacob, the free kick, inches away, superb whip on it. Was almost a classic, Cruz finish. Overall, Cruz today, man. How did it go? In your opinion, had to play multiple positions, out left, and then as a six.
Yeah, I didn't like either performance, to be honest. I mean, he did all of the things he does well, but then he also did all of the stuff he doesn't do well, like really badly as well. He couldn't track his man. He lost Kubo a couple of times. Overall,
You could see the look on his face in slow mo. There was a slow mo replay.
That was very
when
telling.
Kubo beats him, he's like, "That's it, I'm dead. I should probably retire in a few months." That was the look. I was super frightened by that look, man. Like Cruz doesn't look that, tired.
He did
but
not have enough time on the ball to really make an impact. I feel like that was the issue today. But then in the moments that he could try to move the ball up the pitch, he did that, and then he had a couple of really nice long balls as well. But that's about it. Like I would say, like his position, like his rating is also a 6 out of 10.
Yeah, it was pretty average. Yeah, man, Cruz for me didn't really look himself much tonight. Right after that, standing ovation for Fran. So this is the question I wanna pose to both of you, right? It's not really a question; it's an observation. When Mo was actually saying, "But brilliant stuff," he rightly deserved the ovation. 2 assists to change the course of the game. He came in clutch. Not gonna lie. But when Mo said that, I want to ask you, Jacob, yeah, because Mo has this opinion that sometimes Fran Garcia, he gives up too much initiative to others. Like what Mo was saying, he thinks that Fran maybe puts too much respect on his teammates to, carry basically some of the basics of his job. But for me, right, whenever I see Fran play, it's just it doesn't come naturally to him. I think he considers the ball as a hot potato sometimes, unless he's out wide, bumping up, have enough space to put in a good cross. What's your opinion? Like sometimes I think we have to work a way around in which Fran has to maybe not get involved in build up so much, or he shouldn't be given the ball in high pressure situations.
I mean, today, okay, of course, in previous matches, we did see that he has a tendency to make that mistake, that crucial mistake. But in this match, like he had really nice touches. His issue was he was too exuberant, and then he was too enthusiastic about, bombing up the pitch, and then he didn't really look at the offside line. I think he had like 4 or 5 offsides today in the first half. Apart from that,
why is he right at their doorstep? Like, why can't he take maybe a couple of steps back and camp a little more deeper? Like, why is he? So maybe it's a tactical.
I don't know if it's
decision?
a tactical. Okay, the tactical decision is for him to be right on the line, and then because he's the fastest player on that left-hand side, bomb up the pitch, try to get a cut back in or find Joselu. That's the game plan. But the problem is he's just too eager, to get there, that he gets excited, and it comes with inexperience. And you can even see like Alaba and him like talking side by side, and then Alaba tells him, "Hey, just go wide. I don't want you to be near me." And it just doesn't come naturally to him, that positioning. So I feel like these things can be fixed. You can't fix someone like Mendy, right? You can't tell him, okay, just go bomb forward, try to get across and try to dribble. You can't tell Mendy to do that. But these things where you can work on a player's positioning, and then it comes with experience and playing with his teammates. So I feel like it'll just improve with time, and we're gonna see better things with him.
Mo, anything to add?
Offensively, about Fran?
Both ways, up and down. You could.
I think defensively he was pretty scared of Kubo, honestly.
Right.
When the lineups came out, you guys were like pretty happy about Cruz starting. My initiative was like, if you're starting Cruz, then you should probably have gone with Camavinga as left back.
Left back, yeah.
But the thing is, like Fran, in my opinion, Camavinga does not provide the width that you expect from somebody like Fran to provide, because this formation as it is doesn't really have any.
It's too narrow already.
You're totally dependent on your fullbacks to provide with Carvajal bumping on the other side and Fran. I mean, Fran is not Fran is in no way comparable to Carvajal because we know what Carvajal is.
Yeah.
But I think what you guys pointed out about his positioning was bang on point. For me, the thing is like he probably needs to figure out how to position himself in these situations. And I also think that he struggled a little bit to coordinate with Rodrigo because his best for his forward came when Rodrigo wasn't around the left wing.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
when he combined with David Alaba, because David Alaba made that run in the first half, you guys remember it. And that combination with Fran, and even there was another one where he combined with I think Alaba, and then there was like Bellingham was also involved. I think they made some quick one touches to create an opportunity, although it was ruled out for offside. So I guess that's the thing. He needs to figure out how to play with these Brazilians. Even Vinicius, I have seen him
Vinicius.
struggle a little bit. So
Remember in the preseason, like you mentioned it from the get go that Fran should be basically attempting to make space for Vinny and getting into half spaces and pulling away attention, but it was the other way around, where Fran was in acres of space and Vinicius was, completely.
yeah, I think that's the fact, right? When you're playing with Vinicius, if he's playing centrally, the fullback has to drift out wide. When Vinicius is playing out wide, then the fullback has to drift into half space. And I think whenever Mendy plays, what he does is like he kind of drifts into half space. That kind of sort of plays into Vinicius' trying to drag the defender wide and then comes into the box. So I think with Mendy, but you have the other position that he cannot really drag fullbacks around and create width and create spaces. So I think for good or bad, I think we're going to be stuck with Fran this season because Mendy is really going to struggle when he comes back. But on the flip side, I think if Mendy does come back and if we give him a defensive role, then probably that frees up our midfield a little bit more to move forward with more adventure.
Yeah, I think Kamavinga is going to excel when if played over Cruz, he's going to excel when Mendy's back because he can utilize
For me
his
personally,
ball.
I think Cruz didn't really do much this game in the first half as well. I think we would have been okay playing Kamavinga as well. Probably win the ball deeper more and get more of an attacking impetus.
100%. Right. Yeah, Barrenechea, again catching out Danny Carvajal, in second half, it was a big chance. It was constantly happening, but Carvajal, he has his days. Today, I don't think it was the resurgent. It was good, but he was getting caught out too often for my liking. Obviously, his standards are so high, man. I get his contributions going forward as so vital down the right.
One point where he got caught out. I don't really think he got caught out that much. If you could, refresh my mind.
Probably just fickle memory. I don't know. The one time, which was very, very evident, I wrote it down. It was pissing me off. But Dani Carvajal, I think, could do better, man. Could do better, especially at helping his defenders out. But I get the point. Get the point that the formation and the whole system depends on our wing backs providing all sorts of width. They can give us. I get it. Maybe it's too much on his kind of 20. How old is he? He's 30. He's 30 or 31.
Probably, I think it's 31.
31, yeah. 31-year-old, gas cylinders. It's about time he gets a refueling. But it's a pretty, tough ask, honestly, for someone who is not blessed with that much pace. It's basically a two-way job. But another interesting guy I want to speak about is Modric, man. Jacob, I think he had like one bright moment. But again, it comes back to the point that Modric is someone who likes to get into his rhythm, playing, week in, week out, and like building up his performances. But this stop-start thing doesn't really, help him much, does it?
Yeah, man, to be honest, I did not like the substitution where he brought on Modric. Like he was brought on to like get more control and play some passes around, but then that didn't really happen. And then I think even the commentators pointed out like this is not the Modric that we're used to seeing, right? And he just is missing a bit of match rhythm. He was almost like fouling players every now and then. Like his first contribution to the game was a foul, and it's just that I don't know, man. Like I'm not. Do you guys? Do you guys generally believe that if he gets like a run of games, that he's gonna get back to like his best from a couple of seasons ago? I don't think so.
For me, I still believe in Modric supremacy, man. I'm not gonna lie. He has it in him. The technique is never gonna go away. Um, I think
I think
sharpness is gonna be a factor. Go on, Mo.
I think with Modric, the fact of the matter is like he needs to get into the rhythm.
Mm,
With the way that Ancelotti has been using him, it's very difficult to get into the rhythm. Another
mm,
aspect of his game is like Modric is somebody who likes playing behind the ball. Right
mm,
now, the way Ancelotti is using him further forward, the ball is coming to him in like higher areas, and when you do that, Modric struggles. When he was at Tottenham, Harry Redknapp used to play him as a left winger, and when he was playing out wide, he wasn't really that good. But it was only when he started playing deeper that we really saw the best of Modric. When Modric came to Real Madrid initially, he used to play. He was used as an attacking midfielder in some games, and
as a
whenever you
cam, I
watch,
remember.
yeah,
Mm,
yeah, whenever you watch those games, you'll see that Modric isn't really playing at his best. It was when Ancelotti came in 13, 14. He made him play deeper alongside
mm,
Alonso and Di Maria. Di Maria was taking further positions forward. So I guess that's when we start seeing the best of Modric. The way Ancelotti is using him right now, I think it's dependent upon game situations because he's a substitution. So
mm,
he's a substitute. So he's being put in to change games or do a specific task. So if you're
mm.
gonna look at Modric and try to analyze him with what he used to do before as a starter, I think
That's a
it's gonna
completely
be
different.
it's a completely different situation. So right now he's
Mm.
coming in to do a job. His job today was to combine with Cruz and keep the ball and uh, not allow Sociedad to develop anything. So I guess when you look at it that way, Modric did his job.
Mm. Yeah, there was this nice combination between Modric, Cruz, and then Fede was just, like, I think, a couple of centimeters, wide of the post. It was a nice bit of play. Brahim, again, looked bright. What a little chance he has gotten, like he has, I think, caught my eye because I didn't give him a prayer this season, but he has surprised me a bit. Probably it's the tiring, opposition defenders, but he still is very keen to impress whenever he comes on, which is a positive sign. It's a long season. We're going to be competing in so many competitions and whatnot. Um, but yeah, 2 5-win trots back to back for the first time since 1962. Not bad for Carlo Ancelotti, finished manager, dinosaur, pragmatic, all of that nonsense Farouk spews. I really hope
I think
Farouk
you
can.
should keep it for when Farouk comes.
But Farouk is not here. It's even more poignant. There are some pro Carlo people, in here. Me being one of them. I don't know about Jacob, but Mo I know has a soft spot for Carlo, 100%.
So Carlos actually celebrating a special occasion tonight. And he said it's an honor to surpass Zinedine Zidane in number of victories. I'm very happy. I'm going to go and
Oh,
celebrate with my wife with a good glass of wine.
he knows how impressive it is because Zidane's tenure was mad. Even for a guy, someone who is as legendary as Carlo, he recognizes greatness. Um, it's kind of amazing, because when I first read that he was getting closer to like number two and whatnot, like I couldn't believe it. Because for me, Zidane, has managed a much more consistent era. Maybe I don't know. Number of games might be a bit skewed. Like they're both coming into their
I
like
think Zidane has won it
three.
more games.
100%. Like I know, but it was somewhere closer, right? Like because Ancelotti had like 2.5 seasons with us in his first tenure, if I'm
Two
not mistaken.
seasons.
2 seasons. Was it 2 full seasons? No, right?
Yeah, 2 full seasons.
Yeah. Wait. So it was 13, 14, and 14, 15 fully, right?
Yeah.
And then he was sacked midway through the 15, 16.
No, he was sacked at the end of 14-15.
Oh,
Yeah,
so we
the World
started with
Cup.
Rafa Benitez. Yeah,
Yeah.
that whole thing. That whole thing is completely erased from memory. So right. Okay, fair enough. So yeah, Zidane, I think in the numbers would be much higher, but still, like I was a bit surprised that he was catching up pretty quick, and the way we started last season was
I
very
think
promising.
what
Hmm.
it counts against Zidane is the fact that he managed that horrendous 18-19 season towards the back end of it. And the fact that,
Yeah,
like, when you look at it, like, even the 2021 season when Real Madrid were playing, like, it was almost like we had only 11 fit players. So
Yeah.
those times I think hampered Zidane's record. If you look at his record, like the 2.5 seasons that he did after Benitez, like they were pretty glorious.
Yeah.
Ancelotti's
100%.
held by the fact that when he came in, Vinicius caught fire, and Real Madrid were a much better team than they were in 20 and 21.
So you don't agree with the popular narrative that Carlo unlocked Vinny? Yeah.
No.
Fair.
That's the
Fair.
first time.
See,
That's the
I'm
first time I'm hearing that.
really, you should go onto Twitter and Reddit more, honestly, because people do say that Carlo unlocked Vinicius
No.
completely because
No,
he.
I'm like, okay, yeah, I hear that a lot. I'm just saying, like,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know Vinicius could have caught on fire if not for Carlo.
I mean, Zidane was working with him on finishing towards the end of his tenure at Real Madrid. So it isn't just like Carlo Ancelotti came and Vinicius suddenly got unlocked.
But it's about the decisions where Zidane basically deployed him at wing back and the whole
That was
thing with.
one game, man. Come on.
But still, it was a big game where
Yeah,
the stakes were so super high.
That was how Vinicius was back then. If you
He
had
trusted Hazard over Hazard, man. Even back then,
when
for
you
what
look
reason?
at- Let's finish, man. You don't really let anybody talk. I don't know why. The thing of the fact of the matter is, like, you have Eden Hazard. I agree totally that when you look back at his spell at Real Madrid, it was a complete disaster. But the thing is, like, you have a guy who knows how to play, who has proven himself at the highest level, and then you have Vinicius, who couldn't knock a goal into. If you left the whole barn door open, he still couldn't score. That was what Vinicius was back then. So I sort
For
of
me-
understand. I don't agree with him playing at right wing back, but I sort of understand why he trusted Hazard more. Hindsight, he shouldn't have, but Zidane went with what he thought was like trustworthy. Overall, when it comes to Vinicius, it's like it was in the news back then that Zidane was working with him over his finishing. Zidane has a history of doing that. He worked with Hesse as well. It didn't work out. The thing is, like, Ancelotti came in at the right moment. He catches fire and everything goes. Everything is like, how do I say it? Like, everybody is happy jumping around in Twinkie toes.
The rest is history. But Mo, I want to disappoint you. I let people finish, but I won't stand, takes that I don't agree with. I'll be very honest. I'm right in your face.
I understand when you disagree with me. We are people. We all have different opinions. So the fact of the matter is,
Hazard for me that year.
You should let others finish. Right now is the perfect example of what you're doing.
because let me put it this way. Hazard for me, even that year, when he had some sorts of brilliance somewhere, last dying embers, I still didn't have any faith that this man could do something.
The thing is, like, you are arguing with me about Hazard's ability. I've never said Hazard was a brilliant player in 2021. It was Zidane who decided that, right? So right now, what I'm saying about you talking over me is the fact that let me just finish my sentence, and then you can
fair.
back your entire hatred. Let it out on Hazard. I don't really care, but like, let me just finish my point.
Right. Asha was in the chat. Carlo did make some adjustments to Vinny's game, so it's a bit unfair to say Carlo.
I mean, I do agree.
Carlo did unlock Vinny. Yeah,
I do agree that Ancelotti helped Vinicius. He gave him a lot of confidence. But the fact is, like, I don't believe that Ancelotti completely unlocked Vinicius. Otherwise, while Zidane was, making I don't know what he was doing with Vinicius. So.
But it's a nice coincidence, like when Carlo came, he suddenly found all the confidence in the world to actually put the ball in the back of the net. It might be a silly confidence, but it is what it is. Like, I'm not going to slate Zidane, because he's just on another level. I mean, honestly, even for Carlo.
The fact of the matter is, like, we aren't there, so we don't really know what happened. If you guys believe that Ancelotti is the one who completely unlocked them, fair enough. I mean, it's not like I can come out with some proof and disprove you guys. So.
Let's ask Francesco next year. We'll see. But big up every single one in the chat that actually joined us on this pretty nifty 1 hour breakdown of a performance. Like I said, I didn't have a fun time, watching Kubo. There's a new one. I wish that didn't happen. I hope that doesn't happen, because against Union Berlin, they are also a team that knows their way around stuff. We can't underestimate them. Guys like Gosens, they have their arsenal, that they can probably surprise us with. So I would want to, start games better, start with much better composure, much better heads, concentration, all of that, we need to set the tempo very early on. We have to we have to set the season running just like we did last year and keep the momentum stable. That's the only thing I would request, Carlo, because this is probably his last year, and I would like him to leave on a bang, 100%. Ashi was in the chat. He was saying Vinny had a memorable match against Liverpool under Zidane, but let's not say Zizou unlocked him. Vinny was inconsistent under Zizou and way more consistent under Carlo. Fucks. He also adds, Carlo also told Vinny to take. It just gets hidden by the heart. Carlo also told Vinny to take less touches in the box and go for the goal. Right, might be a factor as well. I've heard that quite often. Carlo, I think, would have mentioned to Vinny. Probably, I remember like Vinny used to hog the ball a bit as well under Zidane. There might be something in there, Ashik, not gonna lie.
I'll just say this. I'm not saying Zidane unlocked Vinicius. I'm just saying that it was a continuation of the work that Zidane did. That
It was a work
helped
in
him go into
process.
the next season. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that Ancelotti did not have anything to do with Vinicius' improved form, because that would be stupid. Obviously, Ancelotti gave him confidence. Obviously, Ancelotti worked with him. But to say that Zidane didn't really do anything when towards the end of the season, as we were approaching those games, Zidane was really working hard behind the scenes with him. So while Zidane does not get the whole credit of, because Vinicius wasn't really performing under him, I don't really think that this narrative that Ancelotti completely unlocked him, whereas Zidane was, holding him down, is right. That's
Jacob, say something. Say something, because I need your take as well. Because why are you so silent?
I was just
There should be a
considering
reason.
Mo's opinion, right? And I feel like
Right.
it's not enough for a manager to like give. Carlo got maybe a couple of weeks with Vinny in preseason before he had his first like real breakthrough in La Liga, right? Vinny, right off the bat, he was in red hot form. So just like playing devil's advocate to Mo's point, just Carlo did not have enough time to actually instill all of those philosophies to Vinny, but still like Vinny was able to perform at a really high
But
level.
Carlo's a magic man. He does stuff pretty quick wherever he has been. At Chelsea and Milan, he did take a while to get running. But if you remember his Chelsea tenure, like he won the league in his first season, or in the second. I think in his first season. And the second season, he won his won an FA Cup or something, if I'm not mistaken.
League
But
and Cup double the first season, if I remember correctly.
League and Cup double, right? Yeah. So there you go. He has a reputation for actually, getting his magic in pretty early. Right. This is an endless debate. We don't know who unlocked Vinicius. Probably he unlocked himself. So
that's the point I
is
made, right? I don't really
right.
have any proof. So if you feel that Ancelotti did the whole work, fair enough. I can't really do anything in this program.
There you go. We'll find out the actuality next season, next summer, hopefully. But again, man, big up every single one of you who sends in messages. Again, mentioning that we're accompanying them on gym routines, walks. It's truly humbling. Again, I would like to thank every single one of you who sent in feedbacks as well, where they think we can improve, we can make the show a better one and whatnot. So it's really helpful, and every single one of the feedback is carefully analyzed and picked apart by none other than me, right? Even the negative ones, right? We completely understand people who doesn't agree with what we say. Some of the flow that we choose for certain episodes, we completely understand that some people would be opposed to it, but we're an informal podcast. We're not a very official formal podcast, to say the least. And we're just fans, and we're going to be opinionated like fans. So sometimes we can just agree to disagree on certain aspects, certain points. Big up to every single one of you who have showed love to the content from Madrid. Sid is working on his fan cams hard into the night. We'll be having again a huge array of stuff coming out from Madrid as well. We have been speaking to fans nonstop for the past month, midweeks, match days, all of that. So there's a lot of time, money, and hard work that goes into all of that. Show it some love, people. People who also listen on the audio platforms, do come over to our YouTube channel and check our videos out. Probably you might resonate with a few of them, at least. I'll guarantee you that. Also, watch out for our Union Berlin preview. Hopefully, from the Bernabeu on Tuesday, if I not believe. Mark from the Union Berlin podcast is going to join us. A very nice guy. They actually reached out to us. I was worrying, how could we really, do a Union Berlin preview? But brilliant people, Germans always, find a way. If I'm not mistaken, if I didn't, if I'm not mistaken from my history lessons, they always find a way. But big up them. So super excited to do something special with them as well. Both home and away. Away we have our esteemed, now super busy Yadu, doing his hard work in Berlin as well. So watch out for that. Again, if you haven't followed us on Spotify, it's a humble request. We're like less than 100 away from 1K over there as well. So smash the follow button, people. Smash it hard. We need to get it over the line. It'll be a huge achievement to have 1K on just one audio platform. It truly is humbling again. So until next time, people. Also, sorry. Shout out to our partners on Instagram, Real Madrid Committee. Do check them out. Brilliant fan page. They have been on this journey with us for over 2 years now. Brilliant people. Do check them out. Do give them a follow. Do share the love. Also tell a friend to tell a friend. And again, much love to all of the people who actually voted for us in the Football Content Awards. I think the finalists are announced end of September. So fingers crossed. Hopefully we get some recognition for all the hard work we have put in, over the past 2 years. It's been a long time coming. Until next time, people. Ala Madrid.
Ala Madrid.
Ala Madrid.